By January 8, 1943, the German Sixth Army, encircled in Stalingrad, was on the brink of collapse. The brutal Soviet counteroffensive, Operation Uranus, had encircled General Friedrich Paulus's forces in November 1942. For weeks, the Germans endured freezing temperatures, dwindling supplies, and relentless Soviet attacks. Morale plummeted as hunger, frostbite, and disease ravaged the troops. It was in this dire situation that Soviet General Konstantin Rokossovsky, commanding the Don Front, offered the Germans a final chance to surrender. The ultimatum, delivered on January 8th, was simple. If the Sixth Army surrendered, their lives would be spared. The Soviets assured humane treatment and medical care for the wounded. However, Hitler had already made his position clear: there would be no surrender. Paulus, bound by his loyalty to the Führer, rejected Rokossovsky's terms, despite the desperate state of his men. The German troops, once an elite force that had pushed deep into the Soviet Union, were now a starving, weakened army barely capable of fighting back. For the Soviet command, offering surrender was both a strategic and psychological maneuver. They knew the Germans were exhausted and incapable of breaking out of the encirclement. By presenting the possibility of survival, they hoped to hasten the inevitable. But the German leadership, especially Hitler, viewed surrender as dishonorable. Even as conditions deteriorated, Paulus remained reluctant to disobey Hitler's orders. Following the rejection of the ultimatum, the Soviets intensified their assault. Within weeks, the remnants of the Sixth Army were pushed further into the ruins of Stalingrad. Paulus was eventually captured on January 31, 1943, after Hitler promoted him to Field Marshal, an implicit order to commit suicide rather than be taken alive. Paulus defied this expectation and surrendered, marking the first time a German field marshal had been captured alive. The fall of the Sixth Army was a turning point in World War II. It shattered the myth of German invincibility and signaled a decisive shift in the Eastern Front. The once mighty German war machine was now on the defensive, and the victory at Stalingrad emboldened Soviet forces for their relentless push westward. Rokossovsky's offer of surrender had been a fleeting opportunity for survival, but Nazi ideology had sealed the fate of tens of thousands of German soldiers. Many perished in battle, while the survivors faced brutal conditions as prisoners of war in Soviet camps. The Battle of Stalingrad remains one of the most devastating and consequential conflicts in modern military history.